What was going on before? I would say a lot of miscommunications, not very much pausing, not a lot of self-awareness, just not really recognizing how we have like learned behaviors from childhood, which, form us into who we are.
I would say, to just, duplicate what she said, that a lot of that was going on. And but yeah, just miscommunication. We had a really hard time communicating, and I was getting really, really frustrated, and I felt stuck at a point where I felt what I was saying wasn't landing in the right spot. Like I know where my heart was at, but the way I was saying it or the way she was receiving it, it was not coming out the way that it was intended. So that's why, I had talked to you before. I mean, I was really just completely discouraged. Being a man, I like to figure out something, have a plan, and get it done, and I just felt like I felt like we were getting nowhere in our relationship.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going around and around and around and around, and I was just completely fed up. And I mean, I had thought about not being, us splitting up, maybe getting my own place, trying to figure that out. But we have some really good godly friends. My friends are pastors and doctors and things like that. But they told us to try this. So that's where I was at. I felt like I was completely at the end of my road of what else to do.
If I had to rate our relationship from a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best and 1 being the worst, it was a 3, definitely a 3. Just like I said before, with the miscommunications and, not recognizing our own self and, how the other person will take it. So I think there's just a lot more pausing going on now. So
I would rate our relationship on a scale of 1 to 10 before the class at around the same. It was just probably a 2 or a 3, but that was only partial. And that might sound weird, but I love Laura, and she has so many great qualities. She's a great mother. She's a great wife. She's a godly woman. But for me, it's like I see she gets stuck in these trigger points that would really like it would cause me a lot of like don't want to make this about me, but it would cause a lot of like anxiety and fighting. So most of the time I think our relationship's really good, but when we get stuck in these cycles, it's horrible. So I mean, I guess a fair assumption would be a 3. When I attended the program, I experienced great, cool tools of self-awareness and family dynamics, of generational dynamics that really shined a lot of light to me, behavior traits that I have, like those unsung vows that you don't want to be, but you really are, at certain times. So I got a lot from that. Really just tools to pause and say, hey, this is a good chance for us to work on what we've learned.
Which he does.
In the midst of, and she don't even want to hear it sometimes. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I'm like, no.
You work on it.
I'm like, no, right now is a good time for us to really work on what we're doing. And it's really hard, but those things have been, I mean, monumental to me, because before I had no tools. I didn't know what to do, but to just throw my hands up and then say something that just made me, the bad guy.
So with the program, what I experienced was just a great revelation of how triggered I am, how much, true trauma that I've been through since a young age, and how it, shapes the atmosphere, and how to release it without, which I still don't know how to, pause my brain, which I'm working on to, calm myself down. But what I experience is a hope of freedom, just a sense of being able to actually be free and happy. Yeah, when we were offered the class, a friend of ours blessed us with it. I was very skeptical because I'm like, okay, an online class, what is this going to be? You know, is this going to be like a classroom teaching? But I appreciated how concentrated the tools and the information is, because it's like we get to the root of the problem, and then you give the tool revelation of like, oh, aha, it's not like, you know, it's not dragging out. You just boom, boom, you're getting those points across very intensely, and it gives you the tools, the pause, the, you know, biblical aspect of it, like you said, the family dynamics. So after the first class, we were both like, wow, this is not what we thought it would be. You know, it was very direct and to the point, which we need.
Yeah.
My favorite part was, or is, how direct it is, how concentrated the information is to give you a greater understanding of why you behave this way, the differences between the men and the women, and how you give the tools to be able to integrate as one instead of being, you know, two.
There were so many different things that I really enjoyed. So it's hard to put a pinpoint on one thing. One thing I really loved was just y'all's humor and your personalities, that how real that you really are. I could really relate to you, especially with us having a blended family and the dynamics of those things. Like I felt really connected to you guys. You know, even being on Zoom, I felt like I knew you. So when you guys spoke into our lives, it really did mean a lot, especially when you guys prayed over Laura, you know, and prayed intensely and deeply. Like that meant a lot to me. So just your hearts was honestly probably one of my favorite things, besides all of the tools, the family dynamics, the anger, the dealing with anger and fear, the family tree, the different parts of that. There was a lot of things that really helped me to pause and to not speak out of turn. You know, you corrected me I think the first time we were on there. That was one thing nobody's ever done that. I didn't even realize I did it. And I really sat and thought about it. She started speaking. I spoke over and you said, hey, hold on. You know, she was talking and I was like, man, I wonder how often I really do that in church around people, you know, and look like a fool, you know? So there was just a lot of good things, but the main thing that really stuck out is before I say something, to pause and just think and absorb the atmosphere of what's going on,
right,
instead of just speaking.
Right. I truly believe it was worth the money and the time, you know, to have a designated time just for us to concentrate on what we needed to work on. And I feel really blessed that we were blessed with this class. That's how much our friend really had confidence in it. And so I definitely think it was worth the time and the money to invest in your relationship for a forever, godly, peaceful, happy marriage. Absolutely. Yes.
Was it worth the time and the money? To me, 100%. I mean, you can't put an amount of money on your relationship, and especially when you have kids, and I mean, you're really invested. To be able to communicate and to attain a certain level of peace in your house. Not that everything's always going to be great, but to work on your relationship and get the tools to help you put those fires out before they even start. That to me, that's priceless. I mean, there's no amount of money that's, you know, too much to have that.
Like this, the time and the money, it's either you're going to invest the time and the money into solving the problems, or you're going to invest the time and the money with a divorce.
Right.
So either way, you're going to spend money. Either it's going to be worth the time and money of fixing it, or time and money with, you know, attorneys and divorce and
all that stuff.
So I was really skeptical about doing the class, because you think an online class, like, what is this going to be? It's going to be, you know, boring, or, you know, not really fulfilling. And when we did the first class, we both were really shocked on how in depth and, like I said, just really concentrated on what you got to work on, what the triggers are, where so it, after just the first class, we were really just blown away. And so I feel like it being worth time and money, it's definitely worth the time to sit down and make a point to have an appointment with your spouse to help um, with growth and change. And I believe it's worth the money. Like I said, our good friend thought so highly of this course that he blessed us with the course to help us, which it has. I feel like, time and money, you're going to either have time and money to invest in your relationship, or you're going to have the time and money to invest in a divorce. So doing the work and the time and money with the class, to me, is way cheaper and beneficial than having to go the other way, which will cause, all sorts of problems. So.
Was it worth the time and money? To me, it was, because I don't think that you can put a price tag on a marriage, a covenant between you and God and your wife. It's a lot easier to just give up. I think that's what our culture teaches us. And that's where, sometimes we just want to say, I'm done. This was a bad idea. As a godly man and as Christians, we don't just give up. We fight the good fight every day. And to fight the good fight, sometimes you gotta get help. You gotta get counseling. You gotta work on yourself more than the other person. You have to find out, which you guys did a really good job at showing us, triggers and family dynamics and things like that. Things that really come out in the darkest moments that are our character defects, our defects, our defaults. Mm-hmm. So I think 100% it was worth the money. I love my wife. I love my kids and my 2 dogs sometimes. Right. I love everything about this family. So the time and the money was 100% worth it. I would suggest, to other people that, to take the time, take the money and work on yourself and let the Lord do the rest.
From a scale of 1 to 10 of where we were before, it was definitely a 3. And I would have to compare it now from 1 to 10, 10 being the best. It's definitely an 8. It's an 8 now. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but we have the tools from the course to help us. And, it's just more hope now.
On a scale of 1 to 10, coming in, we were at a 3. And now, honestly, I'd have to say we're at a 7, close to an 8. Our communication is a lot better. I don't think it's a communication issue anymore, which we still do. It's always, miscommunicated. We're a lot better than we were, and we're constantly daily making good strides. Even when we have disagreements, they're not like they were before. They don't. We're not rubbing those real bad triggers, and if we do touch them, the teachings from the class has given me the ability to give her the time to be able to receive what's going on. And I'm just learning, like, to not fix, to sometimes just say, hey, how can I help you today? I think that's a good one. Like, how can I help you, instead of saying my famous thing was, hey, what's wrong? It's just, and it wasn't a good question. So I think we're 7, close to 8, and I have faith and hope that in the near future we'll be at a 10. Where we were before the class, we started at a 3, and now with the tools and things that we have learned, we're at a 7, close to an 8.
What I'm thinking is, if you got a jacked up marriage, if you have a jacked up marriage and you both are acting just, crazy at times and triggered and miscommunicating and getting angry and all these petty things that are really symptoms to the root, then sign up, because this class will give you the tools, the revelation of why you behave the way that you behave, and the revelation and grace to be able to apply it. It's the application is so simple. like what you teach about is so simple, but yet we make it so complex. And the way that y'all break it down, it helped us be able to negate through it and apply it. So sign up.
My suggestions to anybody that's thinking about joining the course, I would say go ahead and do it. It's definitely given me revelation of who I am as a man and who I was as a husband. And it just really opened my eyes to different parts of my life, especially the family dynamics, the things that I picked up from the past from my family and things like that. So I would say if you're struggling in your marriage and you're at your last leg and you don't know what else to do, sign up, because it will give you the tools to be able to properly communicate with your spouse, and it'll change your life. It'll change your kid's life, and it's worth it. It's worth the time, and your spouse is worth it. You know,
it's been really good. I just trying to heal from this trauma and being raised in a narcissistic family and an absent father and then the abuse. And, it's just releasing all of that. And it's like, I almost wanted to hurry up, but then I'm like, you know what? I don't want unresolved issues. So Lord, right. I'm going to go at your speed. And it's like, yeah, I'm good. And boom, good, boom, and, I love my husband. He's an amazing man, and my children, and we really have a good family. Our kids are amazing and they're faith filled, and just being a blended family, you really can't tell, no. I'm more hopeful, but now I'm just, I got rededicated. I got rebaptized.
Yep.
I did it like 7 years ago, and then I just kept feeling the Lord, go. And I did it. And I do feel a lot of yuck,
Hey, girls, hurry up. Okay.
But now I'm just like in the emotional releasing.